Welcome to Chapter 4 on writing linear equations. Chapter 3 focused on graphing linear equations, and now we're going to focus on writing linear equations. So today we're going to learn how to write linear equations in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So here's your warm-up. I would like you to pause the video for a few minutes and try questions 1 and 2 on your own, where you're writing the equations in slope-intercept form, which remember is y equals mx plus b. So you need to know what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. All right, so now that you've tried it, number 1a, the answer is, the question says a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5. So that would be y equals -2x plus 5. For part B, it says a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -3. So the equation would be y equals 3/4 x minus 3. So that is the easiest type of way you could write equations. Number 2, the second easiest way is if you are given a graph and you can see the y-intercept and you can see another point and get the slope. So there are two different ways that you can get the slope. You could do rise over run, or you could use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I use the slope formula for this one, it would be -1 minus 1 over 4 minus 0, which would be -2 over 4, which is -1/2. I could get the same answer if I did rise over run by going down 2 over 4, which would reduce to -1/2. The y-intercept, so that would be m, and the y-intercept is 1. So I would put those two together in the equation, y equals -1/2 x plus 1. For the second type of question, I'm going to do rise over run because I think that's easier when I have 2 points I can do rise over run with. So you're going up 4 and over 3. So the slope is positive 4/3, and the y-intercept is at -5, right there. So the equation would be y equals 4/3 x minus 5. All right. So there are 3 different forms of a line. The first one is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. The second one is standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. And the third one is what we call point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this comes from the slope formula, because if you divide by x minus x1, you get the slope. And then there's 4 on here. So the fourth one is the equations of horizontal and vertical lines. So to write an equation of a line that's horizontal, it's y equals whatever the intercept is. So the y-intercept. So for example, here's an xy axis. If you have an equation going like that and it crosses at -2, the equation would be y equals -2. And the other is a vertical line. Vertical line is x equals a number, and that's whatever the x-intercept is. So here, if I have, I know I mixed up, I'll do green and make it green. Here, if I put over here the equation at 1, 2, 3, so if it's going through the x-axis at -3, then the equation is x equals 3. So that's another type of equation of a line. So this says, write an equation given the slope and a point. So we don't have the y-intercept in this case. So we're going to do something. We're going to solve for the y-intercept. Because if you have You want y equals mx plus b. You already know the slope is negative 4, and you know that you can, if you substitute in negative 1 for x and 3 for y temporarily, you can solve for the b, what the b would be. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to rewrite this equation, but substituting in our values that we know. So y is 3, so we'll say 3 equals m, which is negative 4, times x, which is negative 1, plus b. So then we're going to simplify. We're going to multiply these two together. Multiply your m and x together. That would be positive 4. And then we'll subtract the 4 over to get negative 1. So once you get the y-intercept, then you would put it into an equation. So y equals negative 4x minus 1. So an equation of a line should always have an x and a y, and you'll find the slope and the y-intercept. For part B, we're going to do the same thing. So we'll start with y equals mx plus b. I usually just like to write down the format that we need and then plug in the numbers. Okay, so the y is, in this case, we have x comma y. So be careful because in the coordinates it's listed as xy, but then in the equation the y comes first. So just be careful when you're copying it down. So y is 3, m is 2, x is 6 plus b. So we're going to multiply these two together, and that'd be 12. And then if you subtract 4 over, you get negative 9. Then your equation would be y equals 2x minus 9. The next type of question is if you're only given 2 points. So here they don't give us the slope. If they don't give you the slope, you need to find it, which is not that hard to do. So first part is we're going to find the slope using the slope formula. So we'll do y2 minus y1, negative 1 minus 5, over x2 minus x1 to plus 2 because the negatives cancel. That would be negative 6 over 4, which is negative 3 over 2. Then you're going to do the exact same steps you did for the previous example, example 1, but you just need to pick the point that you're going to use. I typically like to use the one that looks the simplest, so in this case that'd be 2, negative 1. But if you choose the other one, you would get the same answer. So I'm going to plug it in for y equals mx plus b and solve for the b. Y is negative 1. Our slope is negative 3/2. X is 2, and then plus b. Here it's really important that you show all of your work, all of your steps, because it's really easy to make one simple error and then your whole problem goes wrong. So if you show your steps, then it's easy to figure out where you went wrong and easier for me to figure out where you went wrong and possibly give you some partial credit. So then we're going to multiply these two together. The 2's cancel out, so that gets you negative 3 plus b. Add 3 over and you get 2. Then finally, the last step is to put it into an equation. So y equals negative 3/2 x plus 2 are the numbers that we found. For part B, once again, slope comes first. We'll do 4 plus 2 over negative 5 minus 1. So that's 6 over negative 6, which is negative 1. So that's our slope. Next, I'm going to use this point, plug it into y equals mx plus b. So y is negative 2, m is negative 1, x is 1, plus b. Don't forget the plus b part because that's what you're solving for. And then you'll multiply those. That's just negative 1. And then if I add the 1 over to do the opposite, I get negative 1 for b also. So the equation would be y equals negative 1x minus 1. So that has a y-intercept of negative 1 and a slope of negative 1. You do not have to put this negative here. You could just say y equals negative x minus 1 if you want. The next type of example uses function notation. So if you thought you were done with function notation from chapter 3, no, you are not. We are going to keep using it. So this is related to a bonus question that was from the test. So remember, if you have f of x equals y, then you would write it as x comma y. So here, f of 4 equals 9 means 4 comma 9. And f of negative 4 equals negative 7 means negative 4 comma negative 7. So this is, once you get it into the coordinates, this is the exact same process as the other two examples. So step 1 is to find the slope. So here you would do negative 7 minus 9 over negative 4 minus 4. That would be negative 16 over negative 8, which is positive 2. Then I'm going to pick one of my points. I'm going to pick the positive one, 4 comma 9, and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So 9 for y, 2 for m, 4 for x, plus b. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract the 8 over, and you get 1. Then your equation is y equals 2x plus 1. So C, not too bad. And let's try one more of these. So this coordinate would be negative 2 comma 10. This coordinate would be 4 comma negative 2 for y. And then you'll follow the same steps. So step 1 is to find the slope. I'm going to do negative 2 minus 10 over 4 plus 2. Then you get negative 12 over 6, which is negative 2. Then I'm going to take this point and find the y-intercept. So negative 2 equals negative 2 for slope, 4 for the x, plus b is what you're solving for. Then you're going to multiply these two together. Negative 2 equals negative 8 plus b. Add the 8 over, and you get 6 for b. So your equation is y equals negative 2x plus 6. All right, so I know I went through that quickly. So if there's any point where you need to rewind a little bit to fix something or make sure that you have everything written down or that you understand all of the steps, make sure that you do that. If you need to pause the video at any time to make sure that you're able to write down all the steps, make sure you pause the video, okay? This is important that you are understanding this thoroughly. All right, so we have just a little review here. There are different ways to write the equation based off of how much information you have been given. So the easy way is if they already give you the slope and the y-intercept. So you just put it into the equation. The next is if they give you a slope and a point. They give you a slope and a point, you have to substitute m and the coordinates of the point in for y equals mx plus b and solve for b. Then write the equation. The hardest way, not that it's hard, but most steps is if they give you 2 points, because you have to first solve the slope, then follow the same steps as if it were like that. So here are a couple word problems. So the first one is your gym membership costs $33 per month after initial membership fee. So whenever it says per month, that means that's your rate, that's your slope. So the slope is 33. You've paid a total of $228 after 6 months. Write an equation that gives the total cost as a function of the length of your gym membership. So our equation is y equals mx plus b that we're going to write it in, where m is the monthly rate and b is the initial membership fee. They did not give us the initial membership fee. However, they did give us another point in time, so $228 after 6 months. So if we write that as a coordinate, then we can treat this as we did the other problems. So this would be if x is number of months, then that would be 6, and y is the gym membership cost, so that'd be $228. So if we know a point in time in x comma y, we know what the slope is, then we can plug in our information and define b, which is the initial membership fee. So let's do that. So 228 equals 33 for m, 6 for x, plus b. 33 times 6 is 198. Then if you subtract the 198 over, you get 30. So $30 is the initial membership fee. Now it also asks to find the total cost after 9 months. So that means x would be equal to 9. Also, we do need to write the equation. I almost forgot. So y equals 33x plus 30. Because then if we know that x is 9 months, you can plug 9 in for x. So y equals 33 times 9 plus 30. And that would be equal to $327. For number 2, it says in bicycle, motocross racing, BMX, racers purchase a 1-year membership to a track. They also pay an entry fee for each race at that track. One racer paid a total of $125 after 5 races. Second racer paid a total of $170 after 8 races. What is the entry fee per race? How much does the track membership cost? Write an equation that gives the total cost as a function of the number of races entered. So the total entry fee per race, that's asking for the slope. And the cost of the membership, that's asking for the y-intercept. So translate what you're being asked to find into math terms. So first of all, this is a type of question where we don't have the slope, but we do know 2 points in time. So we know that after 5 races, it's going to cost $125. So we can write that as a coordinate. We also know that after 8 races, it's going to cost $170. So then if we use those 2 points, we can figure out what the monthly rate is by finding the slope between them. So we're going to do 170, subtract the y coordinates, 170 minus 125, and then subtract the x coordinates, 8 minus 5. So that would give us 45 over 3, which is $15 per race. Okay, then to find the initial membership cost, we're going to write the equation or figure out what the b is in the equation. So that's step 1. That answers question 2. So I'm going to plug in this point for x and y. So 125 equals m is 15, x is 5 plus b. So then if I do 15 times 5, that's 75. And then if I subtract the 75 over, I get 50. So $50 for the initial membership fee, and then your equation is y equals 15x plus 50. Right, so that is how you write equations in slope-intercept form. And that is the end of this lesson.